Hello. Mark and I at the EOC wanted to take a few minutes of your time to update you on the new blueprint for a safer economy. This is the new roadway to recovery that Governor Newsom released yesterday, the 28th, that replaces our existing COVID 19 recovery plan with this new plan. So, as a disclaimer, I just wanted to inform all of you that all of this information is brand new, and as we are continuing to navigate through it and sort through it uh, and digest it, we'll get better working knowledge of how this is going to affect us. But as of right now, I just wanted to produce this video for you to get an overview of some of the changes, and particularly some of the terminology, some of the sectors that might be adjusted in the days to come, so that we would have a better understanding of the terminology, this information, and help us with our decisions as we move forward. So this is a plan for reducing COVID-19 and adjusted permitted sector activities to keep California safe and healthy. Gavin Newsom described it as a simple, stringent, and slower framework as we currently have. California has a new blueprint for reducing COVID-19 in the state with revised criteria for loosening and tightening restrictions on activities. Replacing the old watch list is now what we're going to become familiar with are tiers, and it's a tiered-based framework. The tiers are based on the risk of community disease transmission, and it's broke down into 4 tiers. The first being widespread, the second being substantial, the third being moderate, and the fourth being minimal. Riverside County is assigned to Tier 1, or the widespread tier. The tiers are assigned based upon 2 measures, 2 of the metrics that you have been hearing us talk day after day about. It is the new cases per 100,000 population per day on a 7-day average and on a 7-day lag, and testing percentage positivity on a 7-day average and a 7-day lag. Those are 2 of the main criteria that we've been following throughout the pandemic. The only adjustment that some of you will see is that under the new cases, this is a per day, where previously we were recording this number as per 14 days. Here is a simple graphic that shows the criteria for each stage. In widespread, in order to be removed from widespread, your new cases, or to be in widespread, your new cases need to be more than 7 per 100,000 per day, and your test positivity needs to be more than 8%. Substantial is 4 to 7 daily new cases per 100K, and 5 to 8%. Moderate, 1 to 3.9 daily new cases per 100K, and 2 to 4.9% positivity. And then in that minimal, less than 1, and then less than 2. As of yesterday, the 28th, Riverside County had 10.4 new cases and 8.6 test positivity. So you can see where we stand currently based upon the new risk level. So there's some rules of the tier framework. All of the information that we're going to present to you goes into effect on August 31st, 2020 at 12:01 a.m. The California Department of Public Health is going to update this data weekly and release it every Tuesday. A county will remain in a tier for a minimum of 3 weeks before they are able to advance to a later tier. And a county can only move 1 tier at a time. So once we start in the widespread, we will be in that category for 3 weeks. The information is updated by the California Department of Health every Tuesday. If after 2 weeks of meeting the criteria, we would then be able to move 1 tier at a time. So to advance through tiers, a county must meet the criteria for the next tier for both measures for the prior 2 consecutive weeks. So we need to be able to meet the new case count and test positivity, be under the existing standard. We need to hold that standard for 2 consecutive weeks, and at that time we are able to go down 1 tier. Once you go down that 1 tier, it's going to be 3 additional weeks that you need to stay in that new tier before you could move. Also understanding that to move, you would need to meet the new criteria. There's also a system built in place that you can move back. During the weekly assessments, if a county case rate or positivity rate has been in a more restrictive tier for 2 consecutive weekly periods, the county would then revert to the more restrictive tier. So this design allows for counties to move up or improve, and then also move back to more restrictive based upon those two criteria once again, case rate and positivity rate. This has an application for schools. Schools are eligible for reopening fully for in-person instruction once a county is off of Tier 1 for 14 days. This is identical to the existing criteria that we had been talking about for the weeks prior, that once you get off of the watch list, which is now in essence Tier 1, and you're off of Tier 1 for 14 days, schools are then eligible to reopen fully for in-person instruction. There is still the existing school waiver policy for grades K through 6, that if they meet the criteria, they can still petition for reopening. And that's that information that we've provided you recently on some of the private schools in the area that have been navigating or asking for petition to reopen. So nothing changes in this. Schools can open once you get off Tier 1, but you need to be 14 days off Tier 1. So how does this change, and what is going to happen in the days to come? So in Tier 1, these sectors are able to open with modifications. Government services can be opened. Hair salons and barbershops can now go back and be open indoors. Higher education is open. Hotels and lodging is open. Restaurants for takeout and delivery is open. Short-term lodging rentals are open. And state and government offices are open. All of these are listed on the state website, covidca.gov, and with each one of these sectors, there are specific modifications, much like the sector criteria that many of us have already seen for these given sectors, that outline what these sectors need to do in order to reopen. Offices that are for non-essential businesses are still recommended to work remotely. So that's Tier 1. These sectors can open, but with modifications. The second is outlined is that it's Tier 1 opened, but with a maximum of 50% capacity, and that's grocery stores. Under Tier 1 opening with a maximum of 25% capacity, they list bookstores, clothing and shoe stores, florists, home and furnishing stores, jewelry stores, libraries, retails. Shopping malls can be opened with a maximum of 25% capacity, but it's closed to common area. The common areas are closed, and so are food courts for gathering. Sporting goods stores are open, and toy stores are opening. Once again, each one of these sectors has specific guidelines and for reopening. That is, once again, at the covidca.gov website. Tier 1 that's opening but restricted to outdoor activities are body waxing, cultural ceremonies, dance studios, drive-in theaters, estheticians, family entertainment centers, gym and fitness centers, massage therapy studios, museums, nail salons, places of worship, restaurants for dine-in will need to be still continue to be outdoor only, skincare and cosmetology, and yoga studios. And the following in Tier 1, the following sectors are still closed. Bars, where no meals are provided. Brewery, where no meals are provided. Concert venues, convention centers, distilleries, where no food is provided. Festivals, live theaters, nightclubs, piercing shops, pubs where no meals are provided, saunas and steam rooms, schools, tattoo parlors, and theme parks. So to give you an idea of what is in store for us when we do have the ability to transition from Tier 1 to Tier 2, there are some sector changes. This is what would occur if our numbers go down and we're able to make that transition from Tier 1 to Tier 2. All of our retail will open indoors with a 50% capacity. So for many of them, they were at 25% capacity. They would move up to 50. Our shopping malls would be able to open to 50% capacity and reduce capacity at the food court. All of our personal care services would then be able to open indoors. Our museum would be able to open indoors at a 25% capacity. Places of worship will be able to open with a 25% capacity or 100 people, whichever is fewer. Movie theaters would be able to open indoors with a 25% capacity. Gyms will be able to open with a 10% capacity. Restaurants would they be able to open indoors with a 25% capacity or 100 people, whichever is fewer. Bars will remain closed, and family entertainment centers will remain closed. So that is a brief summary of the information that Governor Newsom released yesterday, outlining the new blueprint for us to recover. There are specific caveats and that we're still navigating through when it comes to exactly how some of this, how county numbers can be adjusted. We'll update you as this information is released and how we get a better understanding. But I just wanted to provide you with this brief overview so that we all have a better understanding of the changes that we're all going to have to come accustomed to with the governor's new orders. So thank you, and I'll talk to you all soon.